Broadcasting on Radio Star Worldwide. It's the Maverick Difference Radio Show with Paul Finck. When you want to step up and dare to be different. When you'll dare to be great and live to your fullest potential. When you are ready to dare to be a maverick and live the life of your dreams. Then it's time to listen to Paul Finck.
Hello, this is Paul Finck, your host, the Maverick Millionaire, and this is the Maverick Difference Radio Show coming at you through Star Worldwide Network, and we're also in podcast 24/7 on demand, iTunes. Just look up the Maverick Difference Radio Show or Paul Finck, and you will find us today. And again, we are live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So absolutely come hang out. Looking forward to people to join in the conversation, to be a part of this chat every single week. It's why I show up and why I dedicate myself to do this, is to get the message out there that you too can live a great life, that you too can live a different life than the average folk. What do I mean by average folk? Most people out there, the majority are, well, they're broke, they're unhappy, they're disappointed with the way their life is turning out, and I want something different for you. So absolutely come hang out, come chat, come talk about what's possible in your life and all that we have to offer as humans to ourselves, our families, our communities, our society, to the world. Each and every one of us add value, and how do we bring it to the surface? We're going to be talking today about creativity rules. One of the characteristics of being a maverick, and I've identified myself as a maverick, it's the people that are creating a difference in this world, the people that are doing things different and creating a magnitude of results are what I've identified as the Mavericks. And one of the characteristics of that is that they tap into their creativity. They tap into the power of what is internally. And they do that in multiple ways. And we're going to talk about some of those techniques and strategies and what it takes. As we lay into this topic of creativity, we were talking about, and my producer Bill here and I were chit-chatting before the show about what it takes to face your fears, which is one of the first steps, is to step out beyond your comfort zone. And we talked about this in one of the previous shows on what it takes to face that. And Bill, you were saying, you were commenting on the show on one of the previous shows. Mm-hmm. Restate one of your comments or what you were saying about it.
Well, I was talking about last week's show and with regards to fear and how we give it power and how it would sidetrack us from where we need to be in life.
Yeah, and one of the components that's out there, and I deal with a lot of people that have been through challenging times, whatever that looks like for them, and those challenging times, whether it was through agonizing experiences, real trauma in their life, whether it was through drug and alcohol abuse, whether it was through divorce, and they go through these traumas and they create this fear around it. They create zones where this is where comfort is, and this is where I've learned to escape to, and somewhere out there is a scary place. And one of the reasons why out there is so scary is because there's a lack of communication in this world. For all the information that's out there, for the information age and the wave of sharing, there's still a component of, oh no, I don't talk about that. Oh no, I don't share that. Oh no, that's private. And one of the empowering tools that I've learned to live with is is simply sharing, speaking, screaming my vision, my components of my life, everything that's going on around me to the world, because it creates a freedom, if you will. When you don't have to worry about what you've said or what you should say, and you simply are able to talk freely about what's going on internally, about what's going on in your life, about components of your life, good, bad, or indifferent. When you're able to do that and do that with magnitude, it just becomes this weight that's lifted off your shoulders, that it's just, you don't have to think so hard about what you do every day. You don't have to think so hard about, whether you're allowed to say this in front of these people, whether it's financial, whether it's about your bad experiences, about your life, about your past, anything. Just talk about it. And most people get where you're coming from. And in that sharing, you relieve the challenges around it. You relieve the stigma around it. It dissipates. The devil cannot exist in a bright light. And that's what you're doing. You're shining just a bright light on it, whatever it is for you. Does that ring true for you, Bill?
It does. It does very much so. I happen to be one of those that's in addiction recovery. And we were talking about there's a great deal of shame that's associated with that, even after you have a long period of sobriety. So what you just said very much rings true.
Yeah. And the more people get into the habit of talking about it, the easier it becomes. There was a great training I went through a couple decades ago now, where we simply, one of the exercises was to curse. And some people some people curse like drunken sailors. Other people, there's a challenge around it. Certain words trigger them. And so when you curse, and you curse once in a while, it's a trigger, and it creates either a stigma or an empowerment or whatever it does for you. What's interesting is when we get into this exercise and we'd simply start cursing over and 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 over until it became just a comedy show, until it lost all its power, until it lost all its pull. And then, it's just a word. And whatever words that you are embarrassed or have a certain pull on you and a certain power over you, when you bring it to a ridiculousness, and you realize it's only words. Why are we have this stigma around it? Why do we have this embarrassment around saying them? Whatever it is, whether it's, and even having conversations, I realize I've got teenagers. I've got 6 children, 3 sets of twins. And in raising them, in having that sex talk, the first time you start using, all the words of the body, and it's kind of icky, even when I've been through it before, and now I'm going through it with my next set of children, and it's funny. But then as we get comfortable in the conversation, well, then we can get to the real heart of the conversation, that is not about, I said penis, oh my gosh. It's about actually what's going on, and what the real component is that we should be talking about, rather than just simply getting hung up on the words. And when we get to political correctness, when we get to all those other components in our world that cause us to be divided, that cause us to be isolated, that cause us, this is the heart of it. Simply sharing and talking and talking about everything that's going on in your life freely just eliminates the power it has over you, and that stigma, if you will, in certain cases. It dissipates, because it is just words. It is in this case with drug addiction or alcohol addiction, it's a past. It's what you used to do. It's not who you are now. And being really clear about that, and being able to talk about that freely with no No hang up, no apologies. It is what it is. Just is a powerful place to live. And it just brings with it a ability to do so much more. Any other comments on that, Bill?
I'll tell you, it's probably why the 12-step rooms were created, was to help folks actually be able to talk about, just as you were saying,
yes,
talk about what's going on in their life openly and freely, and share, and almost in a sense be liberated of the stigma and the weight that they carry, yes, with what's going on. Very good point.
Yeah, real powerful. And it does bring us to the topic at hand, which is creativity. Is that all greatness came from creative endeavors. Everything that we have in our world came from being creative in that industry, in that component, and creating something new, something different than was around before. Whether it was, simple things like Henry Ford creating a new way to manufacture, whether it was, the new ways of really accumulating information, new ways of engaging. This technology alone is just amazing to be able to utilize. We're broadcasting through a radio show, which is then through podcast, which is also put on iTunes, which we're also on Blab creating video around it. All of these things are from people that got really creative in thinking outside the box. And outside the box is not a place that most people live comfortably. It's a place that there's the few, and everybody else goes, oh yeah, they do it. I don't do it. I'm not the creative one. And yet we know that's where greatness lies. And so let's get clear. Let's understand how to tap into that creativity, how to tap into it so that you too can create abundance. You too can create something different in your life through this process. The first step, and I'm going to go through some components and share with you what I've experienced, is the way to creativity, how to tap into it more fully and make it happen. Only the very first step is to commit to it. I hear people in conversation where they say, no, I'm not creative. And then that's the end of the story. That's it. That's where they stop. They've gotten programmed, if you will, from early on in their life that they are not creative. They are not able to think outside the box. And I will tell you from my study of human psychology, my study of the human brain, my study of how humans are designed and made up, that everyone is able to create. And they do. You're able to, if I say, what does an apple look like? Every single one of you creates this picture in your mind instantly of what an apple looks like. So the apple's not in front of you. The apple isn't showing up in a physical format. However, you instantly can bring it to mind, and you're able to visualize that bright red apple. You're even able to imagine you're holding it in your hand. You're able to imagine you're holding it in your hand, and you're able to imagine even taking a bite out of that apple. Taking a bite out of that apple and feeling the crispness, the juice starting to run down your cheek, run down your chin just a little, as the explosion of juices run into your mouth and you're tasting the texture of that apple and chewing on it. So you're all able to sense this, to feel this, to imagine that apple in front of you. When you're able to do that, you're able to visualize and imagine anything. Anything in the world, real or imagined, you're able to do it. And you just prove that to yourself. So realize that when you say, oh, no, I cannot be programmed, or more precisely, I cannot imagine, I cannot be creative, that is a program, that is a program that has been implanted in your subconscious and in your conscious that you have decided to believe in. It's kind of like a program of certain word association that we already have. For instance, I say peanut butter, you say jelly. I say red, you say green. I say stop, you say go. There are certain words and associations that we're automatically connected with. Through our experience, through our life, these things show up. Now, programming is good. It creates order. It creates structure. It creates a way to file information, to grab information, saves time in our day-to-day existence because we have these pre-programmed components that come from our society, our community, even certain ones that we're born with. However, to really tap into your creativity, it is time to break free of some of those components. Time to break free of those programs that you already have in place. And so how do you break free? You want to create input, new stimulus from your surroundings, your experiences, what you do on a day-to-day basis. You want to have new stimulus to create new programs in your life. And you also want to actually create what I would call a pattern interrupt. So when you have certain programs and you say, well, I can't, or I'm not going to, or I have no interest in, I have no ability to, and forcing yourself outside of that comfort zone, you're going to create new stimulus coming in. You also will create a pattern interrupt of the old. As soon as you say peanut butter and banana, as soon as you say peanut butter and say banana, peanut butter and banana, and after a time, you're going to be doing these pattern interrupts where you eliminate your old programs and you create new ones in its place. So we're going to add just new stimulus, which will automatically create programs. We're also going to be systematic in really crushing old programs, rewriting them to put new programs in place. Just some of the components and being committed to the process. Understand that being creative can give you everything you want in your life. When you're creative, you can create new opportunities. When you're creative, you're going to create new relationships. You're going to have new relationships with new types of relationships with the same people you already know. You're going to have new conversations. You're going to have new experiences. You're going to create new joy in your world. All can come from tapping into your creativity. So I want you to get that there is a powerhouse on the other side, a powerhouse for you in your life, for what you want in your life. All comes from tapping into this creativity and being free to express it. Commitment. So on a level from 1 to 10, how committed are you to be more creative in your life? On a level from 1 to 10, are 1 being, well, take it or leave it. I'm not really interested. I'm not really interested in being more creative. Don't see the benefits. Don't want to put any effort into it. Leave me alone. 5 is that, well, I'll do it somewhat when it's convenient, when it's okay. And a 10 is, I will absolutely create more creativity in myself and in my life without question. Where are you in that scale? Because I got to tell you, you want to accomplish something different. You want to accomplish something more in your life. Play at a level 10. Play at a level 10 no matter what it is, or give it up. You don't want to be more creative, just stop. Don't even think about this process. Matter of fact, hang up now. Don't listen to another word I say. You want to get more creative. You want to do more in your life. You want to create joy, happiness, freedom. You want to create new opportunities in your life. And you want more abundance in your world. Learn to be more creative and commit to the process at a level 10 that no matter what, you are going to make it happen. You're going to show up in playing full out to be more creative. With that commitment, with that involvement in everything that you're doing, I will show you how. I will show you how to create more in your life. I will show you how to accomplish more and find those opportunities all around you by increasing the stimulus that's going on in your brain and increasing your magnitude of what is. The magnitude of what you're capable of, the magnitude of what you can bring into your life. So I'm going to take a break now, and I want you to get that I am here to help you create more. No matter what that is, I'm here to make this world a better place for you. And with what I'm teaching, what I'm training, what I'm bringing to the table, my hope and prayer is that this will empower you to be so much more in your life. I do this in multiple different ways. This radio show is just one of it. I coach and train all around the country and around the world. I coach and train people on how to find opportunity, how to live more fulfilling lives, and how to create better businesses, more efficient, more effective businesses in their life to bring this abundance in so that they really can do what they want to do and what they enjoy. One of the ways to get involved and get in touch with me, I've got a great book called The Rapid Growth Method. Absolutely go check it out. It is available to you free. Yes, free, 000 go to themaverickdifference.com, themaverickdifference.com. Grab the link that's right here on the side, and maybe I'll type this right, themaverickdifference.com. themaverickdifference.com, and the link is right there. Go ahead and follow that link, and you'll be able to get the book for free and get connected with me even more fully. Absolutely my joy and pleasure. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to talk about the absolute details on how to get more creative in your life and in your endeavors, how to increase your creative stimulus within your own self and make it pay huge dividends. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, right after this.
This is the Maverick Difference Radio Show with Paul Finck. We'll be back right after this. The Magnificent Leader with your host, Patty Azar, can be heard every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on StarWorldWideNetworks.com. Join Patty Azar as she gathers insight and wisdom from magnificent leaders across the world. The Magnificent Leader has a zest for life and an appetite to live it to the fullest. They love their people, remove the obstacles to their success, and celebrate their wins with everyone. If you want to learn the secrets to creating joy, happiness, and success in your life and career, become a magnificent leader. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m. or anytime 24/7 on StarWorldWideNetworks.com.
Hi Hi, it's Blade, and I host a show right here on the Star Worldwide Networks. As an at least 30-year radio veteran, I have a tale or two to tell, and I've talked to them all.
Radio personality.
Now that's just nasty.
I can't hear you, though, because the music is so loud.
You'll enjoy the show. It's weekly on Fridays live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can catch all the shows on Star Worldwide at any time on demand.
All day, every day.
And hey, if you'd like to do your own show, give us a call or email, and we'll give you your own show. You'll be free to do whatever you want.
Why are people against the LGBT community?
We'll provide the internet bandwidth, the website for your show, and the studio.
It's very intense, very surreal.
This is the future.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to
guys getting hits and jogging down the...
And with an eye to the future.
And you can do the show from anywhere in the world at any time.
Don Cromwell Live. Here it is, a beautiful Tuesday evening here in L.A.
Join on. It's the new frontier.
It's a new frontier.
It's awesome. The Star Worldwide Networks.
You're listening to Paul Finck and the Maverick Difference Radio Show. Now, here's Paul.
Welcome back to the Maverick Difference Radio Show. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, here as your host, and we are talking about creativity, the power that it has and what it can do for you in your business and in your life. You know, one of the things that I've learned over the years is simply to put it out there. We were talking earlier in the hour about sharing from the rooftops and really expressing yourself freely without worry about political correctness, without worry about what people are going to think, without holding on to any of that stuff, and simply being you in sharing this. And where does that relate to creativity? It's that people get afraid to fail is the extreme. They get afraid to simply talk up, speak up, share their ideas, because what if one person disagrees? What if the idea doesn't work? What if it's a complete bust? What if it actually hurts some people out there or hurts you? What if? And so they hold themselves back from ever really creating. That's the shame of it all. History has proven that the more you're willing to have a bad idea, the more likely you are to come forward with a great idea. Let me let that sink in. The more willing you are to have a bad idea, the more likely it is that you will have a great idea. And that's where the challenge is for most people. They're too afraid of that fear of failure. They're too afraid of fear of looking bad, too afraid of that fear of things not working out just the way they imagine. And so they never put the idea out in the first place. Be willing to come up with bad ideas. Quantity is more valuable than quality. And that's where people miss, especially, and you might hear people talk about themselves even as perfectionists. Well, I couldn't possibly release this idea, this platform, this component. I couldn't possibly take action in this opportunity. It's not quite right. It's not quite right. It needs to be perfect or else. Well, here's where the challenge comes in, is that perfectionism is keeping you from actually getting any creative ideas to the table. It's keeping you from sharing those ideas with the magnitude of people. Here's what I mean by the proof of history. Taking a chance by sharing your ideas, taking a chance by bringing them to the forefront will increase the magnitude of chance that you are going to hit gold, that you're going to be highly successful, highly acclaimed, and really grab hold of an opportunity that benefits you, benefits your society, benefits the community, benefits the world. Do you know Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb? Well, 10,000 different options as to what didn't work for an electric light bulb. He had over 1,000, and if this number is accurate, 1,039 patents. Patents. That means that he came up with an idea that he felt so profound and unique that he wanted to bring it to the patent office and get it registered because it was absolutely that profound and that unique. 1,039. He's known for the light bulb. Do you think his reputation, his success, what he did and accomplished for the world has anything to do with, oh my gosh, he must have been ingenious? Or do you think it has more to do with the fact that he was just willing to take risks, to share, to simply test things out at such a magnitude of level that in never stopping, he created a success. In never giving up, he created a success. In that high level of commitment, playing at a level 10 all the time, and then be willing to just put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. 1,039 patents. He just kept putting it out there so that a handful of them hit, so that a handful of them worked. A handful of them were the things that changed our society and changed our world. Picasso is known to be a great, great, great artist. Quantity versus quality. Great artist. How did he become a great artist? He put out so much material, so much that the good stuff rose to the surface. All the bad stuff we don't see. However, he produced over 20,000 works of art. 20,000. You know how many that is in a lifetime, per day or per year? He just was prolific at creating. That created his greatness. Einstein, he wrote 240 individual papers, thesis, if you will, on a magnitude of ideas. A cornerstone, a handful of them are the ones that we all know him for, that we all know are the magnitude of what created success for him, what created him to be known as a genius. What about the papers that didn't quite make it? He put them out there anyway. Because you never know when the lightning bolt's going to hit. You never know what idea is really going to create roots and grow and develop into something magical and great. So you've got to get used to putting them all out there. I call this throwing noodles, if you will. For anyone that's ever cooked pasta, there's an old myth that says, and true, possibly, you throw the noodle against the wall. When it sticks is when you know the pasta is ready. And throwing noodles, and get in the habit of simply throwing noodles, throwing your ideas out there, sharing them with the world so that you can find the nuggets. You can find the gold in everything that you're doing. Powerful, powerful component. It's been proven quantity over quality every single time will beat the game. Quantity over quality. And that goes against most of our society. Oh, no. You've got to have it perfect. Even when we are in school, the teacher will reprimand us for coloring outside the lines. Are you kidding? Be free. Color whatever way you want, because that will create more. That'll create a magnitude. And so realize We've been programmed and trained to do the opposite of what I'm saying. What I want you to do is to learn to, well, how about this? Do it different. Do it different. Pay attention and be a maverick. Do it different. Be a maverick. Create more by simply doing more. Then you've got to, when I say do more, well, do more what? What does that look like? One is share your ideas. You've got millions of them. I poll people all the time and ask them, who here has ever had what they would consider $1 million idea? Now, they may not have brought it to market. They may not have done anything with it. However, they had the idea. Now, oftentimes this is what I hear. Oh, yeah, I had that idea. And then 2 years later, I saw someone else did it and they brought it to market. Oh, my gosh, it could have been me. How many of you have had $1 million idea? Most people say yes. I've had $1 million idea. I can identify that. I know it's happened sometime in my life. I've had that $1 million idea. Here's what I know. For every one of you that believes you've had a $1 million idea, you've had more than one, maybe $2 million ideas. How many of you believe you've had $2 million ideas? How about 3? How about 4? How about 5? How about 10? How about 20? How about 30? How many of you realize you've got $1 million ideas every single second of every day? Minimum. We have $1 million ideas all the time. One of the reasons why people come and coach and train with me is because I help them see the $1 million ideas that they have that are all around them, that they're triggering, that they're having ideas around, and it's about activating those ideas rather than suppressing them. And that's where the $1 million ideas go from idea to actuality, go from an idea to a real company that gets monetized and you're actually able to collect the $1 million. So exposing yourself, and you've got these ideas all the time, and how do you get more? How do you really become heightenedly aware of them? Part of which is to increase your synapses. Increase your synapses, increase the connections that are going on in your brain every single day. You want to expose yourself. You want to expose yourself to new stimulus. You want to expose yourself to new things every single day of your life. The more new that you can bring into your world, the better, and the more creativity you're going to have in your life. So expose yourself to new things. Expose yourself to new culture, new places, new viewpoints. Expose yourself to new fields of study. One of the ways to, and this is an old version of a way to do this. I used to train people to go into, and I know this is an antiquated concept, go into bookstores or libraries. And you go into a bookstore or library and simply randomly grab books off the shelf in different areas of the bookstore or library, different sections. Grab about 5 or 10 books and then go and sit down somewhere and take a look at them. And what you will be finding is you're going to be grabbing things that, well, information that you've never referenced in your life before. You're going to be grabbing books on topics that you've never even thought to read about, let alone actually read about them. You're going to end up with a litany of material in front of you that is very different than what you normally would do. And in that way, you're going to end up with new stimulus, new exposure to new information that is that is going to create your creativity. That it's going to and basically flame it to create that bonfire, if you will. You're gonna make it something great. So you're gonna create this new stimulus, bring new stimulus into your life by simply grabbing information. Now, the new way of doing it is, well, maybe just going on to Facebook and following trails of thought process. You know, you end up in one link, which leads you to another link, which leads you to another link, and simply be free to go down that path, if you will. And you will find more and more information that you never really thought about before. You're going to find information that you never clued into before. And in doing so, you're going to create new synapses. You're going to create new connections in your brain, which will start the ball rolling to lead to something else, to something else, to something else. And where you'll end up in is a place that you've never been. It's a place that is filled with opportunity that you never even considered exploring before. And so simply dare to expose yourself to new ideas. Expose yourself to new fields of study. Expose yourself to new places. Expose yourself to new people. And this is really key. You've got to get out. You've got to expose yourself to new cultures, new people, new places. It's why, for instance, I've sent, all my kids have taken vacations and experienced other cultures. They've taken vacations outside of this United States. They've been exposed to different ways that people live and outside of their normal bubble. And I call, wherever you live, whatever social economic society you are constantly a part of, that's your bubble. Learn to look at what's right outside your bubble, what's far outside your bubble, and you're going to experience so much more. Just sent my younger sons to Europe for a few weeks, 3 weeks, touring around 5 different countries in Europe, simply to make sure that they had the exposure of what other cultures look like. And all my kids have had that type of experience. How are you doing it for you? How are you exposing yourself to new situations, new cultures, new people, new places? Get outside of your comfort zone. I remember, I believe it was Bill Gates who decided to do things different. And we all know it creates new synapses. It creates new connections, which creates new ideas, new creativity, new opportunity. Every day for a year, he took a different way to work. Every day, he took a different way to work. Now, that could have meant turning left instead of turning right, going around the block one extra time. Whatever it meant, every single day for 365 days, he took a different path. That's power. Because you'll find things that will stimulate growth, will stimulate opportunity, will show up. I remember years ago, I was newer in real estate. I've been in the real estate game for quite a while now. And I was investing in single family home properties and multifamily properties. And I owned one property, and I just was leaving that property to where I was taking care of some things. And I pulled out of the driveway, and there was something going on where I normally turn. I normally turn left to go to the main road and go on my way. However, this time there was something going on left, and I ended up turning right, which I rarely did from this property. Left was to the main road, right wasn't, and I had to go basically around the neighborhood to take an alternate path. Well, in turning right, not half a block up the road was another piece of property that had a small little sign that said for sale by owner. And I screeched to a halt, jumped out of my car, and went and talked to the people. Again, I had rarely turned right. However, this particular day I did. This particular day I did something different. I exposed myself to new stimulus, and it created new opportunity. That particular property I did end up buying. That particular property I did within 6 months make me about $60,000. It's amazing what happens when you simply do it different. Expose yourself to new things, and you will watch the creativity and the abundance come into your life. Pay attention to these components. These sound like, yeah, simple things. Yeah. Only this can create magnitude. Who here would like to simply just do things slightly differently than they've been doing before and create another $60,000 in their life in the next 30 days? Dare to do it different. Consider to do some of the things I've been laying out here, some of the components in exposing yourself to new people, exposing yourself to new viewpoints, new fields of study. Just simply randomly following threads of videos, let's say, or articles throughout the internet to expose yourself to new things and watch where your brain goes. One of the things that is the follow-up to that is then capturing those ideas. Get into the habit of journaling. Get in the habit of actually writing your ideas down. Get a notebook, and every time you have an idea, every single day, whatever it is, write it down. Whatever it is, write it down. Whatever it is, write it down. Get in the habit of creating lists, creating game plans, creating strategies of, hey, I've got this idea. Let me write it down, and just keep writing. Somewhere along the way, a brilliant idea will come up. The more you write, the more you get those ideas from here down on paper, down in a structured system that you can reference over and over again, the more opportunity will show up and the more abundance you will have. So absolutely journal. Write it down. Capture everything. One of the greatest things I heard, and I believe it was Richard Branson, said lists. Steve Jobs also referenced this. Lists. Just write it down. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're experiencing, write it down. Get really good at creating lists. Lists of things, checklists of everything. What would it take to put this idea into action? What are the components of this idea? What makes this idea work? And continually place those ideas out there. Put them into practice by creating the list and then referencing them over and over again. One of the greatest joys I have now is I've been doing this for a long time, and so I get to go back and grab hold of ideas, sparks that I had created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I had a spark of an idea. I created a mind map, or I created a list, and I wrote it down. And now I'm able to go back, grab it, and utilize it for training like this, to utilize it for my radio show, to utilize it for my other training and coaching, or simply to create new ideas, create new business structures, new divisions in my business. All the things started simply because I was taking these ideas and putting them into practice. See, all this conversation sounds really good. Just awesome engagement between people. Oh, it's so much fun for me to have a radio show. All of this is a waste of our time unless you actually take this information, you actually take the components that I've been sharing and put it into practice. Take it and apply it. Make something of it. Don't just take the notes and store it somewhere. Don't just listen to me and then give it up. Actually apply this and watch what happens to your life. Watch what happens to everything in your business, to your relationships. When you get in this process, magnitude will shift and change around you because you begin to do it different. Get clear with your creativity. Get in touch with your creativity. It's okay to just put ideas out there that don't work. Quantity over quality. Quantity over quality. Be okay to fail over and over and over again to find the nuggets of greatness within you. And last but not least is set up a game plan. Set up a game plan, an actual plan of action. Between where you are now and where you want to be, set up a plan. However, set up a plan with the understanding that it will change the second you begin. It'll adjust and change every step of the way. It'll adjust and change as you get new information. It'll adjust and change as you get feedback loop on what you're already doing. It will change. Be comfortable with putting it out there. Be comfortable with the failure that will exist because you're putting quantity out there in taking massive action. Be comfortable with laying out a game plan, knowing it will change the second you initiate it. And I dare you to do it different, to create the abundance in your life from getting more creative and doing more for yourself, your family, your community, your society, and the world. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, your host on the Maverick Difference radio show. Till next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Paul Finck and the Maverick Difference radio show. You can listen to Paul live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern and anytime 24/7 on RadiostarWorldwide.com.